Boom. What is up, everybody? Excited to have you here. Hopefully everyone's doing well, staying warm. We got 8 inches of snow today. There's a snow day, no school at all here in southern Minnesota. So did you have school today, Collins? No? Thumbs down. See, everyone, nobody had school in our area, which is crazy. We've had a lot of them, but thank you for attending tonight. I will introduce Katie a little bit to start, but then I'll reintroduce her when she takes over. But here tonight, we've got Katy Jo. She is a world-renowned power skater, and she is one of the best in the business, and she cares whether or not you guys and girls actually learn. And so I am excited to have her on tonight to go through some video clips and talk hockey. And then remember, at the end, you're going to have a chance to ask her questions. So start thinking of those questions. That way at the end, she can kind of go through those and I can MC it and answer those for her, or help her answer those. And so I'm going to share my screen. Last week, we talked a lot about different plays that happen all the time in hockey, right? We talked about net drive. We talked about using the net. We talked about scanning and keeping our eyes up. And then our lesson this week was about 2-on-1s. And so I want some active chats going on. First, we'll watch the video quick. Almost done. All right, so in the chat, what was the common theme that we saw in these videos? What's the common theme that we saw in these videos? Throw those in the chat. What did you guys see when you're watching it? And one, if you don't know what we were just watching or where to find that, that was in our Google Classroom. So if you're not logged in the Google Classroom yet, please let me know so we can get you in there. Yep, pass and shoot. Passing, I'm looking for a specific what they were doing. They all passed early, right there. Ethan hit it on top of the head. They all passed early, right? And so if you watch these clips, and I'll go back to sharing my screen, when these players go down the ice, they're just entering the zone and they're passing early. And if you think about it, if the goalie is way up, see how the goalie's way outside of his crease? He's way further up. So for him to slide over like this, it's a lot further than it is just to go from post to post. So the further you go in the zone, the further back the goalie will back up, which will make it easier for him or her to slide from left to right because there's less ground to cover. Because your pass is, like if you watch his pass, all the way across the ice, right? And so if you look at the goalie, for him to get over, it's a lot further. That's one. And number two, with them not being right on their post, it's harder for goalies to know where they're at, right? So their angles. You always talk about goalies having good angles to block the puck. Well, if you pass that puck early, it's going to throw them off their angle, which allows you more space. So here, instead of skating this puck into the zone, we pass early, which now this goalie has to slide all the way over to here. This goalie doesn't know where they're at as far as their markings on the net, because usually they use the crease for that. But now since they have to be outside of their crease, slides over. This goalie's still trying to get over. Puck's already here and this goalie's not even over yet. Boom, easy goal. Next one, they enter the zone without a hesitation. You're obviously going to pass it to Ovechkin any chance you get. Slides it over, quick shot. Okay, enter the zone. This player already has the puck and this goalie is not even close to being set. And so when we talk about 2-on-1s, the passing early is such a good option, especially if you have speed coming into the zone, right? If you don't have a ton of speed, maybe you have to escape because this guy would have back pressure on you. But when you have all that speed and you're flying in, makes it easy, right? Boom, zone entry with speed, pass early, goalie can't get over, it's in the back of the net. And so in our homework, nope, not this. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. But our homework is, or if I can pull it up, let's pull one of these up. All right, so we talked about what is one thing that you want to get better at this season, just some cool stuff. And then this is that link right to that video that we just watched, a little multiple choice just to get you thinking. And then describe 3 different options you can do on a 2-on-1 situation. Shooting, passing, dump it in and change. These are all good options. You probably don't want to dump in and change on a 2-on-1 just because you have numbers, but you know, the shooting, the passing early, the passing backdoor, shooting for a rebound, shooting for a corner. But this was our activity or our lesson this last week. So if you don't know what that was, if you didn't see that at all, please reach out to me via email. Just because then I can get you hooked up to the Google Classroom, because today Katie is going to present, and then tomorrow I will post Katie's video so everyone can watch it. And then the next day, there'll be another lesson for you guys and girls to take part in to really work on that hockey IQ stuff. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, please turn that in, and just make sure that you're on the same page. That way we can keep moving. Let's see. Before we move any further, and I reintroduce Miss Katy Jo, are there any questions about anything last week, moving forward, what the plan looks like? Put those in the chat if you have something. I'll give you guys a minute to think. And I'm going to pull up our Zooms. I'm going to share my screen one more time. Keep thinking of questions if you have one. If you don't, that's fine. But this sheet, this is, again, I see a lot of us already on there, which is good. But Katie's going tonight. Then our next one is right around the corner. So it is on Sunday. Today is Tuesday, or today is Thursday. And then a few days from now, we have another one, but we're going to have a lesson the night before. So hopefully you guys and girls have time to do that. If you have a tournament or you're busy, don't worry about it. You can always make it up. But we got Coach Dustin Donathan, then Alex Owens, Pete Cameron, and then John Lounsbury, and saving one of the best for last. As far as John Lounsbury, he does what we're doing for a living with guys like Patrick Kane and Connor McDavid and some of the NHL All-Stars. He works with Adam Oates of the Adam Oates group. So that'll be a really cool one that you definitely do not want to miss, but it's going to be phenomenal. So without further ado, I don't see any questions. I'm going to pass it over to Katy Jo. Again, she is one of the best in the business. I'm going to make her host so she can share her screen. Boom, we're back on. Okay. But can you still hear me? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. This is Katy Jo. She works with hockey players from all walks of life. She has worked with players that play in the National Hockey League, players that play college, juniors, AAA level, AA level, all different types of hockey players. And she's coming back to Minnesota here in March, yep, where we'll actually be in Le Sueur, Minnesota for a little bit, and then we'll be in Mankato, and then we'll be in Lakeville, which I can tell you about later, Katie. But that turnout for Lakeville has been pretty awesome.
Awesome.
And I just got a text from our next coach, Dustin Donathan. So everyone's excited about the Hockey IQ, and I'll let you take it from here.
Awesome. Well, hi everybody. As Danny mentioned, my name is Katy, and I'm so excited to be here. And I have a presentation for you today, and hopefully you all can pick up some habits and concepts that you can use on the ice to make your game more enjoyable. Obviously, if our skating is easier, it makes the game more fun. So I know everyone always says, oh, power skating, but I want to try to make it as fun as possible and as simple as possible, so you don't have to think too much about it when you're on the ice. So I'm going to share my screen, and you guys in the chat, maybe let me know if you have any questions, or Danny, do you want to wait till the end for questions? I know when I do this in person, I usually have kids raise their hands. So maybe if you have a question, I might notice you raise your hand. Okay, does that sound good? Everyone give me a thumbs up. Okay. Sharing.
I'm listening.
Oops. Okay, can everyone see this? I'm gonna pull back to the beginning. Okay, are we ready? I'm gonna make you guys, hold on, I'm trying to make you guys smaller. Okay, here we go. Hold on. All right, so everyone, this is my friend Mikey. He skates with me in the off season. He does play in the National Hockey League. Right now, he's with the San Jose Sharks, but he was drafted to the LA Kings and then played for the Winnipeg Jets, and now he's with the Sharks. If anybody knows Mikey, do not tell him that I am using his videos because you'll see why in a little bit. But group, meet Mikey. You will see him throughout this presentation here. So anyway, here, this is, I'm gonna get into, I don't know why it's doing this. I'm gonna get into a little bit of just the basic stance. This obviously applies to stride, but it also applies to honestly every skating skill that we use. Reason being is this stack stance will help with weight distribution. So if we have equal weight distribution across our blade, that's gonna optimize balance. And then if we're sitting into this strong position, we are going to be hitting the strongest muscles. Can I get a raise of hand if you do dry land? So pretty much everyone does dry land. The purpose obviously for dry land is to build strength, right? Now, when we build that strength off the ice, we want to take it on the ice and be able to use those muscles and the strongest parts of those muscles. So as we can see here, I have this little guy doing a squat. He is tapping into his core, quads, and glutes on that squat position. Obviously, those are the main muscles that we target on that squat. Now we take that squat onto the ice, and here we have a similar stacked position, head on top, shoulders next, shoulders sit over hips, and hips sit over heels. Yes, you have a question. Let's see. I don't know how to, Danny, I don't know how to unmute them. Okay, we might just have to save questions for the end because I don't know how to unmute you guys. Oh, there you go. Did you have a question? Okay. I'm gonna keep going. Anyway, so that is our stacked stance. Head, shoulders, hips, and heels. Something super basic. You can step onto the ice and be like, okay, am I stacked? Head, shoulders, hips, heels. And in that position where we're sitting into our hips, I don't like to say sit into your knees or bend your knees. I feel like we put too much weight or pressure into our knees when we say that. So I say sit into our hips. So when you step on the ice, when you're in your hockey stance, are you able to easily fire the core, quads, and glutes? If you can naturally engage in those muscles, then you are in a great position for pretty much all skating skills. As you can see here, we talk about alignment. Again, head, shoulders, hips, and heels. This applies on our stride. We are in a good position. I will keep going because there's more pictures of this. Obviously, in this position, it's very exaggerated because of the drill I am performing in this position, but I am able to fire core, quads, and glutes, and then on the back side of the stride so that we are covering as much ice as possible per push. We want to be able to get into the hamstring and calf. So that's going to give us a full extension and really good ice coverage on every push. So more efficiency. So as you can see here, head up, eyes forward, same arm and leg reach in opposition. So this is left arm, left leg. That's going to square my body to the direction I'm skating. I'm sitting into my hips. My arms are moving long and low. One thing that you guys can think about when you're skating that's super easy to get to is your legs will match the pace of your arms. So think about it like running or walking. If you're running super fast, your legs are going to match that pace. So we often talk about having a long stride. I, again, like to refer to it as an extended stride because sometimes long strides can get too exaggerated. But on this full extension, I'm going to drive my arm long and low so that my leg will have that same position of long and low. Does that make sense? Perfect. And then knee is driving right over the toe. As you can see here, it's pretty much just directly right over that toe on that glide with the front foot. Everyone cool? All right. We're gonna keep. Okay, so next thing we talk about on the stride is the direction of our pushes. So if our toes are facing the 12 on a clock, we want to be extending back, right leg through the 5, left leg through the 7. Somewhere within that vicinity would be awesome. And one thing that you can think about too to have an efficient recovery is recovering back through the 5 on that stride. So if we're striding back with the right leg, we go back through the 5, and then it has to recover through the 5, back through the 7, and then through the 7. So common errors that I see when I'm fixing strides, and you will see this on Mikey's stride when we go through this, is sometimes the heel kicks too high. Have you guys seen that with some skaters? Or sometimes if someone does what we call railroading, which is a wider stance with their feet, they end up having a J hook on the recovery. So that's like their leg goes back, but then it hooks through the middle. By trying to apply this 5 and 7 clock positioning, it will help eliminate any of those inefficient errors that one may have on their stride. So if we think about the fastest way to get from point A to point B, that would be a straight line, right? So this habit also helps with that. We often see skaters, especially with that railroad stance, or skaters that push to the side, they end up zigzagging a little bit to where they're going, or they have too much upper body twist happening. So you want to make sure that if you're going from point A to point B on that straight line, that's how you're driving your pushes. And then, like I said before, wherever you're pushing back from, you're going to go forward in that opposite direction. And the harder you can push off that back foot, which is where we tap into that hamstring and calf on our extended stride, will help you cover more ice per push. Is everyone following? Do we have any questions? I can't see everyone at the same time. So I'm gonna move on to the next thing. Okay, so the order that you guys can practice this, and which makes it pretty simple, is first working on your alignment and stance. So that's your body positioning that we talked about in one of the first slides. Are you stacked? Head, shoulders, hips, heels. Are you able to get into the core, quads, and glutes? If you guys stand up and your shoulders are too far forward and your hips are behind you, you're not going to be able to tap into your core and quads, or even your glutes naturally, or it won't be as easy to get into those muscles. So in your stack stance, are you aligned? Everything is your head aligned directly over your feet, knees driving over toes, hips sitting down to your heels, okay? And this is a position that you guys should feel when you're doing dry land. And if you're feeling it off the ice, it should be easy to translate onto the ice. Okay, and then technique and control. So this is our body movement in motion. So that's all the things that I just talked about: driving our arms long and low, staying aligned, using the glute, hamstring, and calf on that extension to cover more ice per push, things like that. So when you're working on technique and control, you always want to start by doing it slower so that you can make sure you're getting it correct. We want correct mechanics before we add the speed in. Next is where we would add the speed, which is recovery and reflex. So that's the path. I gotta move you guys over here. Oh, there we go. That's the path of movement when switching legs. And I don't know if you heard on that last video, I don't know if you guys can hear any sound, but Do you know the sound of that snap off your push? Do you guys know what I'm talking about? So the faster you can get to that sound, the faster you get to your speed. So we want to find that snap pretty good frequency with right to it. Does that make sense? And then strength and power, a lot of those habits are obviously developed off ice. That's all that dry land training that you do. I with my athletes, we do strength training on ice so that we're building strength. Have you guys used resistance bands or even pushing nets? Are ways that I've seen coaches and athletes work on developing strength training or muscle endurance on ice. So there are ways to do it, but it does start off ice, especially making sure that your technique and mechanics of your squats and your lunges are all perfect off the ice so that when you go onto the ice, it just automatically applies. All right, moving on. Okay, so here we have Mikey, and this is where everyone's not going to tell Mikey that we showed this video because he will be very mad at me. So, okay, I'm going to pull this video back. Can I get a thumbs up or a thumbs down whether we liked the stride? Thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you were like, eh. Or you can give like this if you want. Show me what you guys think. Some or like this. Okay, so if I could guess, here's what you would say is not good about it. You guys can give me a thumbs up or thumbs down if I'm wrong. Okay, we're gonna watch it again. I'm gonna guess that you don't like that heel kick that I talked about. Am I right? Do you see how the heel is lifting towards his backside after he gets to his extension? Pull it back. Oops, that's too far. Hold on. Do you see that how the heel is coming towards the rear end? We don't like that, right? Okay, and then it looks very tight and robotic. Do you guys see how his arms are moving like super tight and robotic? And does it look like he's covering a good amount of ice per push? Not really, right? I would agree that that's not that great. Okay, another little habit that we can see, especially when he comes this way. Do you see how his knees are together? So he skates like very much on the inside edges. And I'm not sure if you guys have heard this before, but it's been proven that some of the fastest skaters actually recover. So that means when their foot comes back in, they recover to the outside edge. Have you guys heard that before? So as you can see here on this version, he is recovering and he's always on an inside edge. You see how his ankles and knees are kind of turned in. Okay, so there was a few habits that we had to fix with Mikey's stride. So these are the exact drills that I did with Mikey, and let's see if they made a difference. So this is just slow and controlled stride. This is, like I said before, we have to sacrifice speed to gain accuracy. So we want to make sure that we're hitting all of the parts that we've talked about on this stride to make sure that he was able to practice repetition the right way. So slow and controlled stride. This one is what we call scooter pushes. So we're isolating one push at a time, which allows for us to see if our alignment is in place. As you can see on this drill when I'm doing it, after I extend back, my leg comes through. So it's actually like, have you guys ridden a skateboard or a scooter? You know how when you like push on your scooter, you reach forward and then push back? we can apply that same habit on this drill and then into our skating. So how that benefits our skating is that we will cover ice off of a push, but now we're actually going to cover ice on a step through. So we're stepping in the direction we're going while we're pushing off. So it's going to give us even more ice coverage than just recovering to the center. Have you guys been told to recover to the middle? I know that I've heard that a lot. So I've heard a lot of coaches like, bring your feet back to the middle, bring it back to the center, push in the middle. So I teach to push back and then step through. I'll show you here. So that every push, it comes ahead. And the other side, so it goes back and through. All right, and then the final drill that I did a lot with Mikey is this puck drill. We started it with it at the board. So you guys, this is a great drill to make sure that you're tapping into all those muscles that we've talked about today. The puck allows for extra extension, and it also forces you to actually get into those muscles. Otherwise, your puck will just kind of go all over the place. What am I trying to say? This drill really makes you mimic perfect mechanics. Otherwise, it doesn't work, especially when you're trying to put it in motion across the ice. So I would recommend, if you're going to try this drill, start it at the wall and then make sure, again, you're being mindful of those muscles. We talked about 5 muscles: core, quads, glutes, hamstrings, and calf. So those are the muscles that we're trying to hit on this stride. So long and low, arms move long and low. We stay square to the direction we're pushing. As you can see here, my toe, I don't know if you can see that. My toe is on the puck. So you can notice it right here. My toe is on the puck. The reason I put my toe in the middle of the puck is because it mimics that push through the toe after we get to that full extension. So it goes through the toe, try to recover low, and then push. And then here we have Mikey. This was the next summer. So this was a year later. Here he is doing the puck drill. Okay, so now this is his stride after 1 year of working on it. So let's see if it improved. I want you to give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you think it improved or it didn't. Okay, so this is the original version for anyone that's unsure if it got better. Did it get better? Does everyone agree it improved? Okay, cool. Okay, so some things I liked about it that he progressed on was his angle with his front knee bend. He's got a pretty good drive over the toe. As you can see here, he is flexing and extending the whole backside of his leg. You can kind of tell his toe was the last part of his skate to leave the ice. One thing he does really well is this elbow pulling back, and then the way that this arm is driving forward allows for good opposition, especially with his top hand. So he made good progress. We like that. Okay, so I'm pulling this clip. I posted this on Instagram today because I was putting it into this presentation. So this is going to be an example of, I'll just show you, of different positioning. I know that lots of folks have different opinions. So I want you to watch this video, and it's going to show 2 styles of skating. So we'll review it in a second.
Yes.
Okay. Hey, can you guys hear the sound on this? on the video? Okay.
So yesterday, Final 20 Hockey Development posted a video, and I'm going to a little bit of why I think this situation happened how it happened, and it has to do with body angle on the strike.
Okay, so what we're watching right here. Okay, can you guys see my cursor? I'm not like I've never done this on Zoom before, so like this. So can everyone see this player right here? And this player right here. These are the two guys that we are watching, okay? I want you to watch their upper body positioning on their stride through the neutral zone.
As we can see in the video,
I'm gonna pull it back because it went by super fast.
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, I posted a video, and I'm going to a little bit of why I think this situation happened how it happened, and it has to do with body angle on the strike.
Okay. Are we watching?
As we can see in the video, we have
show more.
Brett Ritchie and Evander Kane both skating at full pace through the neutral zone. Evander Kane, because of his skating stance. Okay. Hold on.
Okay, so do you see this upper body positioning and the difference? Okay, so this is what I call old school. This is taught tons. It was to lean in the direction that you were going, okay?
As we can see here with the, hello. This is awkward. Over here, the head is in front of the feet. On this one, the head is on top of the body. So I would.
Okay, so do you see what I'm saying there? Head is in front of the feet. This one has better alignment, in my opinion, to where we're better aligned over the feet. So essentially what's happening when we lean forward and have this drive is, do you see how far his backside is behind him? Okay, he's got really great knee bend in this front foot, but his tush is like sticking out in the back. And when your backside is out like that, it gives you that long stride, but then it takes a really long time for you to get that leg back through. Are you guys following? And so this one, he is, because of his upper body positioning, he's now sitting into his core quads. This one's lost his core, which therefore he lost his glutes. So he's sitting core, quads, glutes. And then because he's able to maintain good engagement in the back of that leg, so hamstring and calf, he's going to have a quicker recovery to switch feet. Okay.
This recovery, so meaning it's not taking his leg as long to get through and into the next stride. When you have this lean forward, you lose your core to draw the back leg through the middle and into the next stride. Hopefully that makes sense. So when you lose your hips behind you, your core and your glutes aren't staying active. Or if you're here, you can also flex hamstring and calf. If you lose that, you lose that last part of that push. So that's why we don't want to lean too far forward. So head is on top, shoulders down. Whatever path this leg goes back, it follows the same path.
Did that make sense? Okay, so I mean, all of this is just obviously my opinion and what's worked for my athletes and how I personally skate. So, but I tend to teach more of a more upright position with the upper body. A few other reasons why I prefer that is because the game is played at such a high pace now. Everyone is so skilled that if your head is not able to move on a swivel, then you're missing out on the game itself, right? So we want to be able to be in a position where we can keep our head up. And that also gives you like a good position that looks confident. Like this kind of, to me, makes you look small and unsure, where this is like, okay, I know what's going on. I know what's going on in this game. I'm confident. I know how to skate. I trust my feet. Here's my head movement. Where if you're like this, the head movement just doesn't work. Okay, does that make sense? Okay. All right. Oh, we're right here. Okay, so this is my I think I have 6 steps on here to developing speed. So first thing is technique. So that's working on your stride length and extension, that weight distribution that we talked about at the beginning, where you want to have more equal weight distribution across your blades. We talked about the arm swing, so driving the arms long and low, and then that strong upper body positioning where we're getting into our core. Step 2 to developing speed is power. So that's finding your strength and then applying your strength as fast as possible. So we want to be able to get into those muscles as fast as possible. That way you get to those pushes nice and quick. Like I said before, the quicker you can get to that push where it's not so drawn out and long, or even just like an edge, or even that snap on a crossover, the quicker you get there, the quicker you get to your speed. Next is stride frequency. So that's learning connect mind to muscle to develop the ability to adjust stride variations to best fit different scenarios in a game. So a good example of that, if you are on a breakaway, are you going to use the same stride that you would use coming out of corner? Probably not, right? So different scenarios within your game are going to call for different skating skills. And being able to develop those different skating skills and then learn to where you're going to place them within your game is super important. And honestly, I think this right here is one of the most under-taught.
I didn't get that.
Oh, sorry, my watch keeps talking to us. Is the most under-taught skill within the game, is like where to actually place these skating skills within the game. So I with that said, I feel super lucky to get on the ice with Danny because we can take the skating skills, we put them in a video scenario, we show our group, and then we're able to develop the skating skills right there on the ice, and then we put them into action with Danny's skill drills. So if you have coaches that do that, that's awesome. I'm a big advocate for doing skating and skills together so that you can make sure your mechanics in the skating are actually proper to where they would be used in the game. Anyway, next one is training over speed. So that's skating beyond your general limit. So whatever your top pace is, we got to push that pace, right? And with my athletes, as soon as their mechanics are pretty much perfect, we actually do all of our overspeed with pucks and pressure and things of that sort. 5 is resistance training. So that's like what we talked about earlier with the resistance bands or pushing nets. One thing that I will say that I try to focus on when doing resistance training with my athletes is making sure that our technique is correct. Sometimes when people work on resistance training, we get sloppy because we get tired. We want to make sure that we are training our muscle memory along with our muscle endurance. So that's that. And then the biggest thing here is, I would say maybe this one is the biggest thing. I don't know. Speed is mental. So that's like your effort. That's how bad do you want to be fast? And then I all the time get obviously athletes that come to me that say, I need to work on my speed. My coach tells me I'm slow. Well, in my mind, of course you're slow because you have the belief that you're slow. So you always want to have the belief that you are speed. Okay. Everyone understand all of that? All right, moving along. Let's see what I have next here. Okay, do you want to break down Cale Makar's stride real quick? Are you guys cool with that? Okay, here we go. Okay, do we like it? Do we like his stride mechanics? I'd say that I mean, who am I to break down his stride? But I'd say overall, it's pretty good. There are a few errors that I think that he could adjust to hit this time, honestly, or maybe even a little faster. Obviously on that one end, he got too far into his heels and caught a little bit of that outside edge, but which also could have helped his time. But as far as his stride goes, I think that he could make some adjustments. I don't remember if okay, I got to pull it back here. Okay, so we are going to, actually, this is a great view. Do you see this arm coming across his body? Okay, so remember how I said your legs are going to match what your arms do. So on his left side, he has a perfect recovery. It drives back through that 7, it comes back through the 7 again, and he comes underneath his body to step in the direction that he is going. Okay, we're gonna watch the right side to see if it has that same recovery, okay? It just goes so fast. Okay, so right here, I don't know how to make it slower, guys. Do you see on his right side how he keeps it a little wide? Okay, so we're watching this leg right here, okay? You see how it's a little wide compared to the left? I normally do this on my phone so I can like make it go super slow, and I'm doing it on my computer with this. Okay, so right there, that's actually great. Do you see how that recovery is outside his hip? You guys see it there? Okay, let me see if I can get it on the right side to show you. Okay, oh, there it was. Oh. Okay, now do you see this side, the right side? Do you see how it comes underneath his hip? Okay, this is the correct recovery. That other one where it was outside was not correct. And it has everything to do with how his arms are moving. So because his top hand is he has a stick, obviously, he can't do this same arm motion with it. So that allows for this recovery to happen, where this arm coming across, it's adjusting his hip movement. So if you think about it, your sport, hockey, we're playing it with, really you only need 2 pieces of equipment, and that's skates and a stick, right? So and a puck, obviously, but attached to your body you need stick and skates. So your stick is connected to your hands, which connect to your arms, which connect to your shoulders. Okay, skates are connected to your feet, which connect to your legs, which connect to your hips, right? Shoulders and hips connect. So really your hands and feet work, they have their own jobs, but they have to work together. So as we can see here, his needs to fix his right side so that it matches the recovery on his left. Okay, did everyone see the difference there? Okay, cool. All right. I mean, overall, that's pretty good, but could be better, right? Okay, so how to incorporate, oh, sorry. My daughter's crying in the background. So how to incorporate skating into your regular season. So adding things to your off ice routine. So this would be, do you guys have balance boards? If you don't have a balance board, I would recommend getting a balance board. Box jumps to enhance power, strength, and reflex, and jump roping for agility. Jump roping and agility ladder to improve agility and footwork. So that would be working on like quick starts, things like that. So those are 3 things that you could do at home, super easy. The next one, this is supposed to say on ice. So let's say you're on like a public skate, a stick and puck, something like that. You can work on edges, always working on first 3 steps. So that's doing like jump roping or agility ladder on ice, and then always work on that stride. So trying to use the concepts that we talked about today. During practice, obviously there's not much time during practice unless you're working with skating specifically, but if you're just in your regular practice and you're not doing tons of skating, just be mindful of that stacked stance. That's super easy to check in with. And then always like in between drills or whatever, you can give yourself a cue, like listen to my feet more. I need to hear more power. And then obviously push yourself and want to improve, especially when it comes to skating. Like that's the part that we forget about. This is for Danny. Are there any coaches on this? Okay, so I'm going to skip this part. Okay, and then finally, quick chat about our skates, okay? This is our last portion. Do you guys see the difference in these two skates? I just want you to look like at this ankle, how this is tied. Which one do we prefer? This or that? Give me a thumbs up if it's this side. Give me a thumbs up if you say this side. Okay, so I say this side, and super easy to, here's my reason why. Are you going to go run a race with your shoes tied loose? Or are you going to tie your shoes to your foot? So your skate has to be an extension of your foot. So we want it to form fit around that foot so we can use our feet and ankle flexion. So there's that. That's just my opinion. Other people may have different opinions. Do you guys know what you sharpen your skates at? Can you give me a thumbs up if this is you? Is this you? Is this you? Is this you? Is this you? Anybody here? I kind of like that. Anybody here? Anybody over here? Good on you, coach. Okay, so I'm here. Coach is over here. Reason being, so remember I showed you my video of Mikey? Like, oh gosh, it's been so many years. Probably like 6 years ago, he came home from the LA Kings rookie camp and was like, Katie, my equipment manager at LA put a 1 inch on my skates. And I was like, oh my gosh, that is the most dumb thing I've ever heard. And then I tried it and I've never turned back. So I've been skating on 1 inch for like forever. So here's a quick little gist about the skate sharpening. So 1/2 inch is usually what they put on rental skates. So are we public skate, rental skate type of skaters? Probably not. So you can probably, your skating skills are probably somewhere in this direction. So this is going to give you a lot of cut into the ice. You're going to get a lot of edge over here. Over here, you're going to get enough edge to carry you through, enough grip to carry you through the edge, but you're going to maintain a lot more glide. So this somewhere in these three are probably where you guys maybe should be at. I would try it before you just like go into a game and play. But if you're looking to get a little more glide, less bite, a little more glide, come down here to this end, maybe 3/4. To me, this is unnecessary because it's like skating through mud. Does that make sense? Like that's how deep into the ice your blades are going to hold you. Where we want to come up onto the ice and use our skating skills and edge work to carry ourselves across the ice. Does that make sense? This is the skates doing the work. This is you doing the work. This is going to be less tiring. This is going to be more tiring. Okay. And then finally, I think this is my final one. Do you guys know does anyone get their skates profiled? Okay, so if you get your skates profiled, you're adjusting the radius. So I obviously teach different players from goalie to forward to D to girls, boys, mites, midgets, pro. I'm all over the map. So I like to feel what I'm teaching. So I usually stay on a stock profile, which is like 10 or 11 foot. Okay. That's going to give me pretty good blade on the ice, but not too much rocker. Some people have their skates profiled so they pitched a little forward. Some like it a little back. I would recommend staying on a stock profile unless you're like in a position where you're like, I need to be this type of athlete and I'm going to skate this way. So 10, 11-foot profile is just fine. Obviously, a 13-foot profile is going to put more blade on the ice. Okay. And then that's all. Do we have time for questions? I don't know.
All right, I'm unmuted, I think.
Okay.
Awesome. Let's do a few. We got 5, 6, 7 minutes here. If you do have questions, make sure that you're posting them in the chat right now. And I did see Chase, you guys raise your hand when they're there. So there's one coach on. We got a few coaches watching. So
okay.
Maybe we can do like a coach's Zoom at some point as well. But
yeah,
if there's any questions, drop those in the chat now. And we can answer those things. What do you guys and girls want to know? Give everyone a second here. I see Chris type in. Eric and Kevin are always good for a good question.
I know. I'm sorry, guys, if you had questions during. I was like, I don't know how to unmute everybody.
No, that's all right. I think the chat was pretty lively, which was awesome.
I just had this see the chat at all.
That's all right. People were answering, and I just had a conversation about skate sharpening today with my nephew, who usually is on this. Unless that's Carter. My nephew's name's Carter. I don't know if that's, I don't know, but it'll be good for him to watch this and talk about and learn about that stuff.
Oh, someone said, what's his last name? His last name is Isamont. Mikey Isamont is, I think that's who you're asking.
Chris asked, who is the best player of the OHL?
Oh gosh, I don't even know.
Isn't that Bedard? Is Bedard in the OHL? Come on.
Oh,
it's got to be him, right?
Yeah.
How far can you travel for power skating, or can you do Zoom calls for power skating? So Nico, good question. We Katy travels all over.
Yeah.
So she comes to Minnesota all the time.
Nico, where are you from?
Yeah, where are you from? I'm like 80% sure we're going to San Diego this summer for a camp. I got a really good call about that today. And then
yeah, we need to go out east. People
yes,
out
we
east.
need to get out east.
Yeah.
We need to get out east. What is the best way to sharpen goalie skates? Any comments on goalie? Goalies are always in a world of their own, which is tough.
Totally. Everything that I just mentioned about skate sharpening was player specific. So goalies should not be on 3/4 or an inch. I usually recommend goalies staying somewhere on that 3/8 end of things. I prefer the goaltenders to be on a sharper blade. Obviously different positions. So that is my opinion on that.
Here's a good question. Where did your inspiration come from?
Oh,
so why are you so into helping hockey players become better at?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Well, first of all, I was a figure skater. I guess I didn't give you guys all my background here, but quick summary. So I was a figure skater, but my brother played hockey. And when I was still training and competing myself, one of the hockey coaches at the time, he coached our junior team that we had here. I had stepped off the ice and he was like, your edge work is incredible. Will you come coach my summer skating camp? And I was like, sure. And so I went out the first time in figure skates because that's what I knew. I taught all the edge work drills that I knew at the time. Now I've evolved since then, but and these players were like, at the time I was only 16 years old. So these guys were like my age and older, which was crazy. And they were like, oh, you're only good at these skating drills because you're in figure skates. So the next time I went to the camp, I put on my brother's old hockey skates, did all the same things. And then since then, everyone took me seriously. So that's kind of my backstory, but I guess like I kind of just fell into this. And when I saw, when I saw how much benefit these players were getting from skating specific training, I was like, I want to help as many people as I possibly can. And I just like, I thrive off of people reaching their goals. Just a quick story. I had a kid named John Driscoll. He played for the Des Moines Buccaneers in the USHL. He was in his age out year, uncommitted, and it all was because of his skating. So this is a kid that had skated with me when he was like 14 years old. To be honest, he was kind of a little jerk on the ice. He wasn't listening, messing around with his friends. When he was aging out of juniors, he wrote me this very lovely message that was like, I'm so sorry I didn't listen to you. Will you help me? We spent a whole summer, which not that long, but by the end of that summer, he was committed to play Division I. So story like that, where it's like this kid, all they kept saying to him is like, you need to work on your skating, you need to work on your skating, you need to work on your skating. He never took anyone seriously. And then once he started working on his skating, he reached a goal that he had been trying to, his whole hockey career, he had been trying to reach this goal. So totally rewarding for me. But yeah, as a coach and as someone that's mentoring players like yourselves, like I'm always trying to grow and learn so that I can spread that knowledge and that message to you all. So yeah, that's why I do it. That's I guess my inspiration is my athletes and you guys that want to learn from me. So that's the answer to that. Who would win a game, Katie or you? Obviously Katie.
Obviously Katie.
Danny, tell the group how good your skating's gotten since you met me.
Oh, my computer died. I'm trying to plug in my computer. It's not plugging in. So my skating has gone through. I actually had somebody the other day. We were on the ice and somebody complimented my skating. I was doing some demos just for some power skating. Someone said your skating has gotten so much better. So it's been fun that way. Absolutely, my skating has gotten 30 times better.
We love that.
If we played in a game though and there was checking, I might be able to take her down, but it'd be a close game. That's for sure. That is for sure.
So I think it's a good way to sharpen skates. So yeah, Chase, 5/8 is in the correct direction. I would say that if you are a lifelong 7/16 or half incher, 5/8 is going in this direction of the good side. So if we think about it, just to simplify it, 4/8 is a half inch. So 5/8 is an eighth of an inch difference. So it's not too terribly different from a half inch, but it is a step in the right direction. So I would recommend anyone wanting to try adjusting from the half inch area, try 3/4. And then from there, if you're like, oh, I kind of like this, you could eventually try to go to maybe 7/8 or an inch.
For sure. Awesome. Cool. Well, thank you for coming, everybody. And again, tomorrow I'll post that video and possibly the lesson tomorrow, because we're so close with Dustin Donathan right away on the next day. And just so everybody knows, he is texting me right now. He's super excited to jump on. This guy has like a master's in psychology and physiology and all those crazy words. So he's super excited to be on here and talk hockey with you guys. So look him up here. I wonder if I can send, do you guys have Instagram, or you can probably just click on it on your, no, that's not it. Look up hockey _ coach _ life on Instagram. Check him out. He's phenomenal. He knows what he's doing, which would be pretty cool to check him out. And again, he's going to be we're kind of going over his presentation right now. So yeah, he's got a bachelor's in psychology and a master's in kinesiology. So it'd be fun. But thank you, Katie, for jumping on here.
Yeah, thank you guys.
And if you guys leave here and you're like, man, I really wanted to ask this question or ask that question, just reach out in the Google Classroom, and I'll make sure Katie gets that question and we can get it answered. So that's all we have for you tonight. Thanks for jumping on here. Katie, don't forget to send that video over whenever you can. Just share it in a Google form or something, or a Google slide or something, and we'll get it figured out. But
okay, perfect.
People are saying thanks in the chat to you, but
thank you guys. Thank you for coming on. As Danny said, let us know if you have any questions.
Awesome. And then that's all we got. Katie, I will call you. I have a 5-hour drive to Bemidji tomorrow, so I'll call you on that drive and we will catch up
tomorrow. Sounds good.
All right, take care, everybody.
All right, bye everybody.